All right. Livestream 99. Here we come. I've had big changes with a lot of things, hopefully for the better. Why is it so dark? Okay, here we go. So basically, I've completely changed my internet setup. I've switched ISPs, but I also realized that a lot of the internet issues I was having weren't really internet issues. It was the link I had between. So I have my cable router downstairs and in my benching room on the first floor, and I just assumed that one of these Wi-Fi extender things would be good enough, but it turns out with distance and walls and closed doors, that actually had a real impact on the internet. So I'm now streaming at max bitrate and I haven't seen a drop frame yet, touch wood, because what I swapped it for was Powerline, a Powerline network adapter. So I've been seeing really solid speed test results and stuff. So I don't know if this is going to influence the stream, but so I have 100 megabit down and 40 up. So that's the other thing with the new ISP. I theoretically have 40 up, and previously it was 20. Okay, so speed. It turns out speed tests do influence the stream. All good though. That's to be expected. But yeah, basically upload speed, I haven't seen a difference. It previously speed tested at 25 or 30, and now it's pretty much in the same range, even though theoretically it's been doubled. But Twitch only allows up to 6 megabits, so yeah, today I've got something a little bit different on the test bench. I'm clocking Vega, so this is the best result I've had so far. I've given it plus 40 power limit, plus 50 led to black screening, so I'm going to leave it at plus 40 power limit for now and see if I can clock RAM and stuff like that. So 945 is stock RAM, so let's see how we score at 1000. And I should also do render tests, because let's go. Have you clocked Vega before, White Shark? So the other thing is, okay, not sure if render tests are really the best means of testing, but we'll just keep an eye on our FPS. On cold, single stage or LN2 or dice. So yeah, for those who are not aware, not that I'm an expert on this or anything, but basically for the modern Radeon cards, basically Fury and later, well, excluding Polaris, of course. So Fury X, first gen Radeon 7, and the 5000 and 6000 series. Basically the biases are really hard locked. You basically can't bias at it, and the power limits and stuff are really strictly enforced. So clocking isn't just a matter of and the boost algorithm is a little bit funny. So clocking isn't just a matter of finding the top position on the slider that will pass the test. Sometimes clocking higher will score worse. Sometimes a higher power limit will clock worse, because it will, like, I don't know, hit some sort of clock limit or something. It's weird. You have what's the triangle? Bilko kept on telling me about the triangle. So it's power, clocks, and power limit, something like that. Yeah, Fiji is a funny one. It does have HBM though, so the memory overclocking is weird. I shouldn't be doing full tests actually. I should be doing GT1, GT2. Man, live stream 99. I'm still not really sure what I'm going to do for 100. I hope at least my internet issues are solved now. It's also cooled down a lot, so it's raining today actually. So I shouldn't have any thermal shutdowns on my streaming rig anymore. I shouldn't have any internet issues anymore. Now it's just a question of content, basically. Hey Sparky, how are you doing? Long time no see. Yeah. I haven't run modern 3D in a long time. The last time, you will laugh, but the last time I ran modern 3D, it was on a 9700K. I have no idea what RDL and MRL mean, but okay, have fun either way. So, oh, this is a new chip as well, actually, a 7980XE with a copper IHS, liquid metal under the lid. I should check what sort of clocks it can do through physics actually. Okay, so 7962 graphics. Ooh, we got over 100 points from that. So is it better in both GTs? I mean, not much in GT2, but we'll take it. So 1050. Where's the apply button? Okay, let's go out of it and go back into it. I'm not the biggest watt man aficionado. Okay, so that didn't want to apply somehow. Okay, there is an apply button. So now let's do times by custom. Even though CPU test is so short, that's the only thing. A lot of benches you can really save time by only running GTs. But here you're skipping the shortest subtest. It's kind of funny. So yes, so I got this chip rather cheap. I need to get rid of my other Skylake X's now. I bought a 7920X just for Country Cup. I don't see any other use for it. I'm not gonna loop Y Cruncher forever because that's the only thing it's good for. With Ryzen beating it for all the 12 core globals. I still have the 7940X that I wanted to use for 3D, but then I got such a good deal on an 18 core that I'm going to flip that as well. So I need to flip those two. Potentially flip my KBX as well because that didn't do too well on water. Ooh, I was starting to see some sort of weird screen blanking. What else can I show you? I also, if anyone, not that I'm under any illusions that people watch every single stream since they're at different times and so on, but in the previous few, okay, starting to see artifacting. In the previous few streams, I was having issues with artifacting actually just on the HDMI itself, so on the desktop, and that turned out to be a broken HDMI splitter. So I got a new HDMI splitter and I went pretty high end just because there was a deal available. So yeah, where is it? Where are you, my splitter? Okay, here we go. Yeah, so it's this thing. I'm not using the remote or anything, but it's pretty cool because it's actually, I think they call it a matrix, an HDMI matrix. So you basically have 4 inputs, 4 outputs, and any input can go to any output. You can't actually, yeah, you can. So you can do things like 1 input, 4 outputs, so just duplicate the signal 4 times, or you can, any combination you can imagine. So even obviously, whatever. It's way overkill for what I'm doing, but it's like a $300 matrix splitter that I got for $100. So I thought I'd invest in something, because the previous splitter I had was just 1 input, 2 outputs, and all it could do was switch. It was just a switcher. It couldn't even duplicate it. You could just flip a little button to switch, and that could become a little bit annoying. Whereas now I at all times basically as close to the source as possible without connecting 2 cables to the graphics card itself, and having to configure in Windows on the bench rig itself the duplication. So basically I'm still only running 1 HDMI, but then as soon as possible I'm splitting it into 2, and then 1 goes to the streamer and 1 goes to my display on my desk. And so that's pretty cool. Not sure I'm really using it to its full potential yet, but that's the other thing. So I shouldn't have any signal issues like that anymore. So we've broken the 8K. I should really be making more screenshots. I didn't screenshot the other one. So we're broken 44 here. Okay, this is good. We're going in the right direction. So let's call it plus 40 and 1050 mem. We're probably not that far away from the max mem though. Does anyone actually know offhand which of these timing profiles is better? Hi Hardware Barbecue. Let's just try profile 1. What is the worst that can happen? Higher profile is harder, but I assume profile 1 is still tighter than auto. I'll see if the bench reacts to it, because you can definitely get diminishing returns for this kind of stuff. I remember, I think, was it Hdmi 7970 or maybe even 290X, I decided to do bias modding with tighter memory, and it just didn't, in a lot of benches it just didn't make any sense, because the memory would clock lower to such a degree that it would score worse. So it'd be something like, I don't know what a good clock would be, but let's say it was Elpida, I think. So let's say it did 1500 on auto timings, it might only do like 1350 on Titan timings or something, and then yeah, it was just ridiculous. No point running a non-standard bias if you don't get any payout from it, basically. So now we're seeing this weird display blanking, which I had on a higher power limit as well. So the other thing that happened was I got first in Australia. Now, credit where credit's due, or yeah, basically the only reason I passed Bob and Zed for career ranking is because he had a lot of multi-way and single 05 records or good scores for globals, and he also had, like, I probably had more W Prime stuff than him, so W Prime lost globals this year, but still on balance the 05 hurt him more than the W Prime hurt me. And then he also had he got affected a lot by the Ryzen 5000 launch, so he had like really strong 8700K globals, even like 9900K globals, and those are all worth nothing now basically, whereas I never really benched those to begin with. I did do a run of 8700K, but otherwise not my strong suit. RTL and IOL on Zen 3. Okay, what chip do you have, Sparky? So this is yeah, this is going to be basically the suggestions stream for Livestream 100. What do people want to see? I'm sort of hesitant. I don't really know what the best thing will be because sort of I'm considering making a 12-hour stream. It's not going to be a 24-hour stream, but I think 12-hour stream is doable. So maybe like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. or something like that for my time. So that would hit US at the beginning, Australia in the middle, and Europe at the end. And then I'm sort of toying with the idea of having some sort of charity tie-in. I don't know how well that would go, but literally just I don't know, link some sort of PayPal or something, see how that would work for one of the local charities here. Yeah, and in terms of actual benching, I am out of LN2 now. I did a lot of, I had probably the most, on balance, like overall, the most successful LN2 delivery in a long time, or maybe forever, because I got 100 liters and almost all of it went to actual points. And not only that, I was able to bench through it in a week, which usually I just get so demotivated towards the end that I'm really struggling to find something to bench. So that was fun. So ooh, we got a lot of points. 8-5. Oh no, that's the overall score. How does that even compare? Let's see. I have no idea. I think Suzuki is first in this. 9-7. Extreme funky. Who the hell is this? Okay. Buildy on LN2 in second. So 10 core definitely can gain a bit in the CPU test. So no there are subtests. Okay, but let's compare to our previous results. That is ever so slightly better. Ever so slightly. Probably not worth it. If the tighter profile doesn't run, then maybe I can just back off this again, because that's more or less within the margin of error. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm completely open to suggestions on this Livestream 100 stuff. All I'm sort of set on is that I don't know. Should I do LN2? It's sort of a balancing act, because I think 12 hours of chatting and just ambient benching can get old. But at the same time, if you have like a rough LN2 session at the 4-hour mark or something, it'd be really tough to do another 8 hours. I mean, I'll definitely have to prepare some playlists and sort of go on breaks, you know, have sort of a splash screen up and say, hey, I'm eating, and put a YouTube playlist of old XOC videos on loop, basically. Yeah, and I think I'll have to sort of come up with some sort of bench order as well. Like I'll have to sort of like put together a menu of the things that I might bench. But yeah, I don't know, this will probably be 2 weeks down the line. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, in terms of LN2, it's quite nice for this session, because I don't even have to, because walls are broken, right? Walls are still broken. It's very easy for me to remember what I benched, because it will just be in my seasonal points, because it was the first significant benching I did this year. Focused on harbor points. Yeah. So I did a little bit of 1055. It's a weird one. I'll have to iterate through different boards again because is it weird, by the way, that I'm cut off like that? Okay. I don't know if that's better or worse. So 1055T, I basically first booted with Northbridge at the lowest multiplier, just to see what I could do in terms of max multi, max BCLK, and I was able to get a really, really high BCLK going. I think it was 433 benchable in W prime. Yeah, 433 with the relaxed Northbridge. And I thought, okay, sweet. I just I reboot, I up the Northbridge, and I do the same thing all over again, and then I get 1M and 32M. But it turns out, at least on this UD7, it's lock chips are interesting because you can basically lose BCLK during the session. So on first pull down, you'll get the absolute maximum BCLK you'll ever get in that session, and then whatever you can do without crashing, that's what you can do. And then after that, you'll lose 5 BCLK, or you might even lose 5 BCLK twice. So you bench. In my case, I benched 433. I don't know what I was trying to do then. I actually should have just done. I did 1M. I think I did 1M at the relaxed Northbridge. But then I was like, okay, I got to reboot. No, actually, yeah, that's when I lost BCLK. So once I got to 1M, I basically rebooted up the Northbridge. My postable BCLK went down 5, and then my settable BCLK in OS went down 5 as well. So ended up at 425, and then later on in the session I even lost another 5 BCLK, and I ran some stuff at 420. So I'll have to check. It's really hard to check this on ambient because you can't run the max Northbridge multiplier on ambient because you just can't. Northbridge scales with cold, so it's sort of hard to know how to even test this, whether other boards don't exhibit this behavior. Okay, so again, only ever so like that. Yeah, that did nothing. That did more or less nothing. Lost a little as well, actually. Okay, so there we go. These timings, either they're not applying right, or they're not doing anything for this bench. So next step up. So does GPU-Z basically not put any it doesn't really get you to the highest state, does it? Oh, it does. Well, not really. Okay, we'll just see if we keep basically that's the name of the game with Vega, is see if you're actually scaling, and if you're not, then actually just back away again, because there's just no point. Hi UCI. So okay, so that was the 1055, and I did actually do a second session, and I was able to get 429 applied, but then I had a blue screen and I lost BCLK again. The FX 8320 was interesting. The only thing there is, so this is a nice score, but Matt has already said that he's going to bench a better chip. So he's got an 8G chip that did, I think, 7.5 in. Okay, this is the start of the of the interesting. Yes, the very, very, very interesting type of artifacting going on there. So basically, this guy has only a 7G run in Cinebench 11.5, but he has a 7.5 run, I think, in R15. So that means he's going to rebench, yeah, 7.6 even. So that gold isn't going to last. But the Super Pi gold was pretty... How did the alien break? Well, I've reattached, but it's just, yeah, it has a crack at the shoulder that I need to glue sometimes. So this Super Pi was extremely interesting. So basically, yesterday, I had about 15 liters left, and I decided I didn't want multiple sessions. I just wanted to get rid of, okay, GT2 crash. I wanted to get rid of LN2, so I decided to, okay, basically run something that's really thirsty. Yeah, for those who don't know, TimeSpy GT2 is heavier on the GPU than GT1. And I think I've heard too that it scales better with GPU. Yeah, so basically this 1M, Bones is on single channel. That's because his chip is actually, it's actually got a dead channel on it. So he ran 7.9 or so. But I actually discovered that single channel was just faster because, I don't know, I was a little bit lazy about tuning my RAM, so I think I was just hitting the Encore. I could have always dropped a multiplier, but I think I was hitting the limits of my IMC with 2600 RAM on PSC, and it gets a little bit fiddly if you then want to kind of achieve the same same core at a higher multiplier. It just gets a bit messy. So I decided to, very occasionally I'd be able to pass 277 on dual, but because of the lower core it would actually end up in a worse result. So I decided to pull a stick and run single at 279, and this score I got it about 6 or 7 times before I could actually save it. So I was using all sorts of, for whatever reason, the screenshot utilities I had didn't work for this OS, so I had to use MS Paint, and it would crash on either taking the screenshot with the print screen button, or it would crash on, you know, opening CPU Z. So what I had to do is keep Turbo V open, do the run, downclock for BCLK, engage slow mode, open up CPU Z, open up MS Paint, minimize, have everything ready, upclock the BCLK again, and then disengage slow mode. Then take the screenshot, re-engage slow mode, downclock again, and paste into MS Paint and save, you know. And then still, sometimes I would still probably get a run that would actually not complete. So I was on the edge. So I'm in a bit of a predicament with this chip because I actually have 3 of these chips, and I was hoping to just find the clearly best chip and sell the other 2. But actually my binning results were really weird. They were really like, they basically indicated that none of my chips were any good. Yeah, so the chip I ended up running, so this, I just, from Country Cup, I still have this chip. I ran it as a comparison, but it's obviously going back to Bilko. I'm not benching it, but Bilko's ended up being the best, but none of them could do good Cinebench. Basically none of them had outstanding vid, so you would actually want more than 1.4 vid for a really leaky chip. So I just took a punt at it and ran the first one and ended up being good. But the problem is I have one module. So as you might know, for Cinebench, sorry, for FX, it's organized into modules. So an 8-core will be 4 modules of 2 cores each that share their floating point unit, I think. So you always have to consider modules together because they'll generally clock very, very similarly. And you know, you should try to avoid running multiple workloads on the same module. You know, using module 0 on an FX chip for something like SuperPi tends to be slower because, you know, the OS is on core 0 by default. And if you're then running SuperPi on core 1, you get contention and stuff. So ideally you want to the LN2 consumption of these chips is absolutely ginormous. So you want to find your best module out of the 3 other modules that are not module 0, then disable the modules that are bad and run 4-core. That's how I do it. And I ended up running, you can see I'm running 4-core, so I ended up running the first 2 modules. But to be honest, I didn't really check the last 2 modules that much, so maybe I have a better single core module in there somewhere. But this module is certainly good enough for 1M, which I already have the gold, and then 32M, it's just a question of doing a bit of pre-testing. Ooh, the graphics core score exploded, I think. But it's just, this chip is good but not great, so I'm sort of tempted to run the other 2 chips on LN2 anyway. But I don't know, FX is the sort of thing, you know, you can mount up and you get nothing from a chip. You know, a chip is just complete and utter garbage. Especially this, because it's a lower bin chip, so it's lower bin than 8350 and lower bin than the 9590. So let us check. Yeah, that was a good boost. So 2 FPS in the first test and about 1 FPS in the second test. So I could add a GPU Z window because it does show the set clocks. Yeah. So that's plus 40, 1075. So Shark, did you run Vega 64? Do you have clocks on hand? What it did on ambient? So this is more or less maxed. Now let's do GPU. So this is a percentage. That's fucked up. No, let's do the advanced control and do 1700, let's say. This is weird. How can I just enter a number? I want to do 1700 exact, please. The hell? Okay, 1730 it is. And now, of course, the clock's down to 1729. Thanks for that, AMD. Maybe up to 1200. That must vary a lot though. And this is new drivers as well. Sometimes new drivers clock worse because they actually score better. Yeah, okay, so this chip, this is definitely a work in progress. The liquid cooled bias, no idea. How would I check? It's getting there on the edge. Yeah, but I mean, how can I look at the BIOS version on GPU Z, for example, and actually know that it's the liquid cooled one? What's the missing geometry bug? Oh, okay, I see it. All right, back to this chip. So obviously did W prime on it and stuff as well. W prime 1024M was crazy. It did 7G at 1.95, 7.1 at 1.95 V core, 7.2 at 2 V core, and then 7.3 at 2.05 V core. Boost FPS, nice. I'll have to check that I'm actually getting valids out of it. So I don't know. I'm never gonna get first though, because it's Alabello at like 7.7 or something. No, I don't want to order a bench table. Yeah, 7.7. So that's a bit rough. Single channel, not even 2 volts. Crazy shit. So yeah, I ran that chip. I also ran this locked Athlon. It was actually quite fun. So I got 1M, 32M. Couldn't get PyFast for some reason. And my W prime efficiency was way off, but I was, so what was it again? Yeah, it doesn't clock the same as, this is Propus. It doesn't clock the same as Athlons, regular Athlons. Like 378 BCLK is pretty rough. Oh, Bildy's in chat. I thought because both White Shark and Bildy are moderators, I was just assuming it was still White Shark talking about the Vega, because we both have Vegas. Okay, so that obviously boosted the score. No surprise there. I find the max, so I wonder if there were just some sort of indicator here to tell me that it's the water cooled BIOS. Anyway, you can look at that later. So this is plus 40, 1730, 1075. Oh, voltage control. Okay. Power tuning, power limit. Nah, only goes to 1200. That's okay. I'll keep struggling on with this. Let's try 1800. There's a second BIOS position. I can always try that. Otherwise, I can flash. It's really nice to be back. Oh, display went away for some reason. Well, it's back anyway. It's back. Nice to be back doing some 3D benching. Yeah, so the funny thing about this locked Athlon was Sav's record was from 2010. On 790 FX, March 2010, almost an 11-year-old record. So that was fun. That was just for shits and giggles, really. I I also ran 965, and that was really... It's not running at all, is it? Yeah, okay. So let's try the other position. So this 965 was really infuriating for multiple different reasons, because it was just a 31.5 multi. It was basically just one and a bit BCLK away from 7G. I've already done 7G on my 955, but it would have been nice to get 7G on this as well. So not only did it troll me with frequency, but it's actually not a good 32M chip. So can I open that sheet? This is turning into an obsession of mine. So this is, where's my, this is the number of 965s I've binned. Back to Whatman. Manual everything, of course. Yeah, okay, that's also a liquid bias. It's okay. We tried 1800 basically. Whatever the next step it down is. 1758. Power we did plus 40. And VRAM 1075. Maybe just back it off and see if that helps in any way. Come on, GPU Z. So for dumb people like me, where is a source for Vega liquid? No, I want to see all the benchmarks. Should maybe disable hardware monitoring. Okay, I think the first hit on tech power up seems to work. Now I just need a flash utility. Well, it's not crashing. It is blanking though. ATI Win Flash for Windows 10. Is that gonna come back? Nope. Yeah, I think at this point we just need to flash. Oh, it's just okay. Even better. Forgot there was this. So different part number, that already looks promising. A different bias release. Image size, different CRC is different. I mean, we have dual bias anyway, so what's the worst that could happen? Yeah, I think that's the exact page I got it from. Thanks. So the only thing I forgot is that I didn't turn on low latency mode when I started the stream, because I had disabled that because of my internet issues. So yeah, the lag is a little bit more than it should be. Next stream it'll be back to what you used to, but I'm finding now that a lot of the chat responses are a bit short, slow because of the extra latency. Reboot, please. Yeah, so this is my 9665 binning Odyssey. So I reject a good number of them just from ambient binning, Cinebench 15. But this chip had my second best vid ever. This chip is really good. 10 is really good. I was really hoping it would be good, but it just does good frequency. Its CPU Northbridge is terrible. All right, let's check Wattman. Yeah, recovered from a failure or whatever. Performance, tuning, manual, GPU tuning. 1250. Okay, that's looking promising. So let's just, it'll probably fail, but let's just run the exact same settings again, just in case all that power limiting and stuff was hurting us to the point that the bench would fail. Let's double check our clocks. Talking about Vega 56s, I have to I'll have to RMA my Vega Nano before it's out of warranty. Not really sure what's wrong with it. It just sort of stopped posting in my streaming rig. Okay, so yeah, 965, that was a bit of a tease. I was hoping for more. I mean, it's still my best validation result, but the reality of these old validation scores is that because CPU-Z has gotten heavier over the years, you need a much better CPU than the person in first in order to actually beat them. I mean, anyway, this is, no offense, but this is probably a fake anyway. But let's say octa-core 7.1 is so hard to do on Phenom 2. Anyway, there's not that many points in validations. It's just capped at 40. Yeah, but I had fun with that chip anyway, I suppose. Then I did 550 Black Edition, my first 32M, and it's not that much slower than Gyrock, but it's really tough. So I think the chip, I have more 550s on the way because I just need a new chip. It's similar to the 965, really rough on Encore. Doesn't like Encore above about 4.3 or so at all, even for 1M. And then for 32M, this is the best I could get. RAM frequency, since it's a C2 stepping, it's kind of expected that something along these lines is the max. That's not really, I mean, it is chip dependent, but I wouldn't bet on another chip being any better than this. But certainly Encore could be like 4.5, even on a C2 chip stepping, which is like 550 Black Edition are all C2 stepping. Yeah, there's basically 550 Black Edition in terms of unlocked stuff, 720 Black Edition. Those are the two that are always C2 stepping no matter what. And I mean, maybe there's some unicorns out there, but I haven't seen anything. That's C3 stepping, which clocks better. C3 stepping usually clocks better Encore, RAM, and Core as well. So really good C2 stepping will do 6.5. A really good C3 stepping will do 7G. So yeah, those are the two unlocked ones that are always C2 stepping, and the Sempron 140 is always C2 stepping as well. And there's certain things that can be a mix. So the 965, I've had a C2 stepping, but they're rare. I guess the 955 could potentially be a C2 stepping as well. I just haven't seen one. And I think the higher end Semprons, the 145 and the 150 could be C2 stepping as well, but I haven't seen any. And the locked Athlon, so Athlon 240 tends to be C2 stepping, but there's C3s as well. 245 and 250 are a little bit like Sempron 145 and 150 in the sense that the majority are C3 stepping. Anyway, I'll have to come back with another chip. Core is good, but Encore and RAM, it just let me down. And OS efficiency as well. I already have the W primes for this chip, I think, but actually 1M for this chip is really rough because it's at like 6.4 or something crazy like that. Is that a big jump or is it a big drop? It's a big drop, isn't it? Okay, what the hell happened there? Is this bias slower? What the hell? Let's check the monitoring to see if we had any throttling or something. Okay, we can just keep clocking up the GPU, and I don't see anything obvious that's wrong here. Maybe it just has a different power limit requirement. Let's see. Yeah, I'll retest the mem timings because maybe the auto on this bias is much looser than the previous bias. Yeah, so 550 is almost as hard of a binning job as the 965 at this point. Hi, Ginger. Yeah, I wanted to show you the 1M. So the 1M, I think even is on DDR2, but it's just clocked to high heaven. Juicy 46 points though. Okay. So it's clocking the core the same, roughly. Yeah, 450. That's rough. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully we can get our performance back. That's all I'll say. I think we're so far off in the FPS department that we need to focus on that. Okay. Whatever. Let's do stock power limit and see if that's better, and then if it is better, we can slowly creep up the power limit again. Wow, it's been an hour already. Time flies when you're having fun. Well, actually, I'm only 100 megahertz behind him. And is he actually on DDR2? Typical Chu. Compressed screenshot and no details. Great. What else did I run? Yeah, I mean, those were the main four. So 1055T, the FX chip, 550 Black Edition, 965 Black Edition, and I did a little bit of 5820K. So that was really weird. I've had 3 5820Ks in total, and one I've sold, but now I have 2 left, and one of them will not boot Windows 7. So I think the IMC is degraded because it will just not boot a 64-bit OS. What I'm going to try and do is maybe set a really low maximum and pull 3 DIMMs and see if it will boot with under 4 gigabytes, because that's kind of what it's doing in XP32. And if that's the case, the problem there is that's actually got my best core. I think I might have to just dump it. I can't really sell it in that state. My other chip is the one I benched here, and it's just not that great. So the chip that's now degraded did 5877 core, but I had trouble clocking the on-core and stuff, and maybe it was already degraded at that point. And then this chip, I had a hell of a time getting it to 574, so over 100 megahertz difference. Yeah, X99 is fun. What did I actually? Yeah, I'm a stock power limit. I don't know, guys. I mean, it's not clocking any better on the liquid bias. It's not scoring any better on the liquid bias so far. We'll see. Maybe with the extra 50 millivolts, we have to give it a little bit more power limit, like more than 40. So what other benches are worthwhile? I might run Time Spy Extreme just because it's a globals bench now. Why doesn't it get... How can a bench get globals and no harbor points though? It's supposed to get harbor points. Okay, so let's do a recalculate then. Nah, still scoring like absolute crap. So 7575, that's easy to remember. Okay, so oh, it did actually recalculate. Ooh, 20 points for Time Spy Extreme, not bad. But it's the same Extreme Funky guy who is much better mem than I do. Fire Strike, obviously worth running. This Country Cup 2019. I wonder what rig people are even running their heavens on. 86k. I should really run superposition as well, just because globals. Bull shooter at 7G. No thanks. That's the end of GT2. Oh no, GT1. Fuck. I always forget how long these GTs are. 4K scores. Bit AIDSy. Oh, on Threadripper. That's a while ago. How's my water's pretty chilly, but I think I can chill down a little bit more. Alright, went from 20 to 18. What else is new in the world of overclocking? So yeah, this guy has I already called him out. I mean somebody else, sorry. Afrom, the owner of the second place score, already called him out. I should just throw in a report. So for those who don't know, not only does 3D Mark 03 have a chance of bugging, same thing can happen to Time Spy when you're on the edge, clocking on the edge. So here we have a guy, so just for comparison, someone on 1600, 2100 roughly, beating somebody on 1660, 2100. And how are they beating him? So this is the bugged one. Oh, not even showing the FPS. Let's go back. Oh, it's Fire Strike. Well, same thing applies. So let's go into 3D Mark link and compare that. I think this is the second place score. Yeah, so a lot applied, of course. 90 and 44 versus 55 and 45. 90 in GT1. 770s. Oh, just bin them. Are they all different OEMs or all the same? Okay, let's take note of this result because that's max power target. And now let's see if dropping those 50 millivolts will get us something. And I'll mess around with the timings as well. And then, unfortunately, I'll have to say that I'm going back to the air bias because this could be due to anything. So, it could be that the OS bugged itself. That's unlikely. Could be that. What else could it really be? It's the same driver, same OS, same CPU, same RAM. I don't know. 4GB dual fan. How many cards are we talking? Yeah, so I reported that. That's good. Someone is global spamming. 8 cards. Ooh, why are we getting screen blanking? What did I even change? I changed the volts and it's hanging. So now on the liquid bias, the same volts that the air bias was on, it's not passing. Weird. Let's just reboot. Yeah, for 8 cards, I would, if you have a universal water block or a universal air block, I would just swap the block, air cooler, not block. I would swap the cooler between the cards and leave them all. Since it's the same vendor, stock bias, stock vGPU is likely to be the same, because and vDroop and everything is going to be the same in LLC. So I would just run stock volts and see max pass for GPU clocks. I mean, memory is important too, actually. I would maybe even test them separately. Max pass for GPU clocks in even something like TimeSpy GT2. Just checking that our CPU OC is still there, however slight it might be. Yeah. And we've still got all our channels. All right, timing's level 1. And in the 680s, yeah, you'll just have to bin them separately, I think. So stoked to see that potentially the internet issues are completely behind me. So timing's level 1. Let's see how we go with this. So competition wise, it's very calm at the moment, isn't it? It's just the divisions are on. Fittings are still not covered in condensation, so that's good. The lower ambient temps help today. That fan spinning is my power supply. 18 core and a Vega 64 at max V GPU on a single 1050 Corsair. I mean, it's passing, but I don't know if it's really necessarily high enough FPS. What have I bought in terms of hardware recently, actually? Not much. I'm just gonna get a glass of water while GT2 finishes. Ah, 7816. It's better than. Yeah, it gave me 100 points, but I'm not sure that's good enough. Let's just try second level. So I don't know if there's really been good scores recently. I think a lot of the benchers are working on 11th gen at the moment. What I did find impressive was, and I realize I'm in the group of people, a small group of people who are into tri-core and quint-core, pent-core, 5-core basically. So this dropped. So Ala did this. It's so impressive because first of all, ingenious idea, running asymmetrical clocks for GPU Pi. It's amazing. It just makes total sense. You can actually do it in multi-way GPUs as well, because GPU Pi is just a workload, an CUDA or OpenCL workload. So you don't lose any score by running asymmetrically. You know, if you, not that I've necessarily tried this a lot, but if you run something like Cinebench 15 on asymmetrical clocks, you're probably not going to do very well score-wise. What GPU Pi is one of those benches where it just allocates less workload to the core that completes less workload. So he's running the weaker core at 6.7 and the stronger cores at 6.8, and that's completely ingenious. From now on, I'm always going to do that, because I've actually struggled in the past with chips, tri-cores and 5 cores that may have 4 really good cores, and then the 5th core is just an absolute dumpster fire. And then I think something like GPU Pi, you could still get a pretty good score if you do 6.5 on 4 cores and then 6.1 or 6.2 on the 5th core. That would still be good. And then the other impressive part of it is 16 minutes on LM2 at 1.95-ish V core. That's insane. The only thing I don't like seeing is the fact that it's in Benchmate. Freaking hate Benchmate, but okay. Most of the things about that sub are impressive. I suppose we can talk about PC Mark 10 Express getting globals. I think that'll be fun eventually. Right now, not enough people are benching it. Gonna get back to some more 5 core, yeah. So single core, I mean, oh, this is just single stage. I should beat this. So what's he running storage wise though? We have a score. So it went up a little bit again. Unless the only thing I ran higher on the other BIOS was memory, but I don't even know if that's going to pass. Especially with the timings tightened. Hey Dark Peanut, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm benching, this is 3 p.m. Sydney time. But good news is next stream is Livestream 100, and it will be accessible to everybody. It will probably be on a Saturday or Sunday, and it'll be, the goal is a 12-hour stream, so it will be accessible to all. Bits of it are going to be accessible to all time zones. Oh, this guy still has hidden his results. What are you doing, Ali? So that's something I could do is some Sempron runs 340 VCLK on single stage, but that category is obviously evolving. No one has seriously run their so people have run the Celeron, but no one's run the Xeon 3014. I'm good. I got a #1 in Australia this week. Last week, it started last week. I think I got #1 in hardware masters. With the rankings change towards the beginning of the year, I got #1 Australia in career, and this week I got #1 seasonal. So triple crown basically. There's also global masters, but that's, I don't know what that ranking is supposed to signify, because there's a meaning to all the rankings, right? Like there's career, which is globals and hardware points sort of mashed together, and it's supposed to represent your entire career. Then there's the seasonal ranking, which is something very, very similar, but just for the current calendar year, which also makes sense. Hardware Masters, I admit it's a little bit more obscure, but it also makes sense. It's an uncapped ranking of all your hardware points. So I think career, it's your top 30 globals and then your top 60 hardware points. Seasonal is half, I think, so it's your top 15 globals and top 30 hardware points. Hardware Masters is all of your hardware points of all time just summed together. So it's a nice ranking in that sense because it's not as dependent on new IPC stuff coming out and stuff. Like your career ranking, because of its dependence on globals, can get smashed sometimes. Let's say with a new release like Ryzen 5000, where Ryzen 5000 in GPU Pi beat in 6-core beat an 8700K at 7G, but beat it at ambient. So then suddenly those scores are not worth anything. Hardware points, it just, yeah, it goes into the tens of thousands. So I'm front page now, and I do want to move up there because I think it's quite a meaningful rating, ranking from my point of view at least. So obviously Alibaba and 12 are completely untouchable. Ooh, so we're starting to sort of get into the range where things are a bit more interesting. So let's look at our last unbugged score. 8.3, 8.6 though. It was 8.6 and it was only 1730. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on there. Thanks. 775. Yeah, 775. I mean, if you're gonna concentrate on only one platform, it's one of the better ones to concentrate on. But in terms of platforms that are just easy to get into, certainly AM3 as well. Ivy I think is not bad. 1155. Sandy is hell. 1156 is hell. 1366 is not beginner friendly. So I would say AM3. Well, for ambient stuff, even stuff like AM2. Okay, I'm calling it. Sorry, going back to the air bias. I mean, we're behind by 500 plus points here for no reason. Let's see what else. I mean, even AM4, I would argue, especially second gen onwards, is super easy to bench cold and ambient because it's full pot. AM3 plus probably getting a little bit harder there. It's a bit, I like it, but certainly wouldn't say it's the first platform you'd want to work with because you're working at really high V cores, really high heat loads. So yeah, the getting back to hardware masters. So number one in Australia was a guy called Max Beach. Why can't I see it? Yeah, but I passed him recently, and globally he's 21, but I've also passed this Michelle guy who's retired. So he's retired. I think Ice Angel is kind of retired. Splave obviously still very active. So I would say Pablo also retired. Tractor is active. True Monkey not that active, but not that retired. Shar super active. Moonman is active. Icky retired. Ale semi-retired. Stinger semi-retired. Bullshooter active. Tag active. Knopfler retired. Deli active. Popa retired. Leakhoof semi-retired. And 12 and Alibaba. So I mean, these three, if you look at how big the gap there is, I think long term, I could see myself getting to about 10th or 9th in the world in that, because it's just a volume thing really. But you also need scores that, you know, keep up, like they don't just disappear the next day. So back on the air bias, and I'm just literally going to run the same thing and hoping that I get in like an 8.6 or 8.7 out of it, and that it wasn't bugged. So this we had at 40. This we had at 1075. Memory timing's auto. GPU. Let's try 1750. Call me Tim. Hi, how are you doing? You're either up late or up early. So the other ranking that still gets tracked, and I don't know if anybody really pays attention to it, is Global Masters, which is the same idea as Harvard Masters, but with global points. So it's super volatile, because when there's a new release, suddenly you can be like, you can go from like 5th to 40th in the world or whatever. And that, I guess, gives you an idea of the most active benchers in a way. Do we have a crash? Or just a really slow loading screen? No, it's running. So yeah, obviously Splave, OGS, Save Disk, Miller, Arsanino, Lumi, Keep Sharon, Ralph, Chispy. It's nice to see Chispy get back. He's an old school bencher who recently sort of started benching again. Anyway, I'm ranked okay here, but it's just sort of like I don't really care about it. I suppose I could overtake Bob NZ and be #1 in Australia there too, but it's just not a focus of mine. Let's go back to PC Mark. So yeah, no one's run the Xeon in the single core category yet, so Ale on a strong single stage result. It's just I don't really have the storage for it. I might have to do what I think Ale does, which is a RAID 0 of like 40 gigabyte SATA disks. So let's see, dual core. So still on HTO. Obviously the only competitive chip is 7350K. Even though the Athlon 200G or whatever might be worth a look there. Tri-core. Yeah, that would be worth doing something with for me, I think. I have 560 Black Editions on the way, so stay tuned. Oof. That tweak. Whatever tweak is being applied here. Poor Ale in second on LN2. So do we have validation links that actually work? So where's our hardware? Yeah, so this looks like just a normal 240 gig disk versus an Eureka Raptor. Yeah, it's a little bit, that's the difference, isn't it? So let's have a look at the subtests as well. Okay, I think you can see it now. So losing in web, losing in all kinds of, yeah, I don't know, just not tweaked enough, I guess. So that's an interesting one. Quads, as we get a score out, 8-4. Still not the best. We had an 8-6. Let us maybe retry the memory timing stuff again. Let's just go straight to level 2. It's got a block, an EK block on it. I don't know what vendor it is. Let me just cancel the run and show you. I bought it with the block attached, so it's an AMD. Not sure if this can tell you something about what the actual vendor is. I don't know. Maybe if I validate I should have shown you like this. Maybe if I validate one of the 3D valid files. I got a deal on it. I was told it was a good clocker, whatever. Especially in these mining times, when you get a good deal, take it. So quad cores. Also just single stage results so far. Okay, who's really LN2'd something? Ooh, 5 core. I'll on LN2. Nice. Should out LN2 him. What are GPUs? GPUs are graphics processing units. Oh, so the first sort of tweak everyone's talking about with PC Mac is use an AMD GPU. For some reason, scores better. I mean, 5.9 doesn't seem all that impressive to me, to be honest. Then again, it is a really long test. So what about 6 cores? Anyone LN2 6 cores already? No. SS 8 cores. This is a Vega 64 that I'm running. Okay. I think someone LN2 to 10980K though. Oh, Cascade. Chispy with the out tweaking the tweaker. Fugger. I wonder what damage I could do with this 18 core. 5.4 on shield though. Yeah. That must be a really strong chiller. .53 V core. Probably blow up my VRM. Anyway, but we do have other new benchmarks this year. Don't want to see any of that crap. There we go. Just disable some defender notifications. The other new one was Y Cruncher. I wonder what the situation with Cinebench or 20 is though, because a lot of people subbed it before I even got globals. Pi Prime. I haven't run Pi Prime yet. I don't really run like beta benchmarks that might not go anywhere. Yeah, so this Cinebench 15, this is like 440 BCLK or higher, I think. This is insane. Yeah, 440. Okay, that's pretty much maxed. What have people done for dual? 6.6. Okay, that's pretty maxed. What about try? 6.5. That's pretty maxed. Quad 6.9. Okay, that was worse, I think. Actually, Everest is slightly better. Let's try the top power limit again, just in case I'm missing something. Okay, quads are definitely maxed. What have people done for like 18 core? Probably Splave. 5.9 for Cinebench. Yeah. The interesting one is something like Y Cruncher. So here you need 8 gigabytes of RAM, and there's a bit of debate going on about, for the single core system, should you run 4x2 or 2x4? I think Ale ran 2x4. Yeah, not so sure about Xeon being better in Y Cruncher. Yeah, 370. No one's run it. Interesting. What about the tri-cores? 6.4. That's a lot. Yeah, Y Cruncher is like is basically a memory benchmark. Four, 5 on core. 908, 10.8. Interesting. So only a single person has bothered to run 5000 series properly for Geekbench 4 single. That's crazy. And then there's just someone's water score just casually in amongst the 7G runs, beating my 7G run. Holy shit. Yeah, I don't know, I don't have a board, and just sort of feels like 6000 series is just around the corner, and I don't know. Maybe the tighter RAM timings will actually help RAM stability. That would be something. Yeah, I know. That's so all the cards will get reshuffled basically once DDR5 platforms come out. To a lesser degree, probably 11th gen as well. So it's sort of not great. No, the score did go up. To invest in like current gen stuff now, because it's gonna be out of fashion pretty soon. Okay, let's try one more thing. Or even like 65. No, I don't think there will be as many teething problems with DDR5 as there were with Ryzen first gen. It's not to say it's going to be smooth sailing or anything, but yeah, really weird how nobody decided to go all out on this. So a 3,000 point difference to second spot. 5.9, but ooh, is it a bugged run? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a full run. Actually, we don't want any downclocking. The other thing could be oh, and there's memory voltage as well. Okay, let's do 1,000. And this is 1,750. I guess we can leave this on automatic. Yeah, what is going on with these two different results? So 5.9, 2,500 C15 versus 6.1, 4,500 C14. One is, oh, they're both symmetrical. Okay, subtests time. So 9.1 crypto, oh, 9.8, 9.1, 13.5. Yeah, 5K on memory. I don't know what SafeDisk is doing there at all. Sorry, I'm just comparing the top two AMD results, and I don't really understand what's going on. Oh, hold on. Here, link the wrong thing. No. 11k crypto. 11.6. I don't know. Maybe some sort of phantom throttling or something. Okay, min and max the same. All good then. Oh, call me Tim. Thanks for the follow. Much appreciated. I don't know, the FPS looks low. I also don't like the fact that there's no artifacting. $8161. That was on stock memory. Damn it. Actually, let's make it 1080, just so we feel like we're doing something with our lives. Okay, let's go out and go back in again. Now let's double check in GPU Z. State 3 max. Oh, set as main. Okay, didn't know that. Sort of glad that the summer is over in a way. Makes it easier to bench. I think I'll move on to something else. I'll do a full run. Let's see what max CPU I can pass for the CPU tests. Yeah, that's the artifacting I was looking for. Yeah, it has been a mild summer, but I still had my streaming rig shut down and stuff. It doesn't take much. I mean, even in winter, I'm never cold in this room because I can just turn on chillers, 500-watt chillers. You know, doesn't take much for them to heat up a small room. I mean, it's not a tiny room, but it is a small room. And so times by. Let's see if we can mine some hardware points here. Aussie record would be nice. Ooh, he's on Matisse though. What kind of CPU test does Matisse produce? 12k. Okay, that's beatable. This is a 15k. $16 degrees. That's optimal. It's good sleeping temperature. What are you even talking about? It's excellent. So let's open up our time spy. Makes sense to do time spy extreme next. Oh, the only thing is I'd have to re-enable hyper-threading. Okay, I think since we're running Firestrike, hyper-threading off sort of makes sense to go there next. You run it with all. Oh, that's right. You run it 16 core, 32 threads. This is more complicated than I remember it being. All your winter in a week. Are you a resident of Texas by any chance? Eight four. Yeah. All right, let's just. Okay, I should stop messing around so much. But one more try of 1100 mem. Yeah. The whole. I was just joking. I know the whole country got it. Yeah. You know, it gets really bad here in the summer. It gets to the point where I can't really bin stuff either because the ambient temperature is so high that maybe my RAM, you know, behaves differently or whatever because it's not the same temperature it usually is. It's, I mean, I can connect to the chiller, but it's very humid here, so that means I can't run the chiller very low. Yeah, it gets it's complicated. Nice artifacting. Yeah, should have a health warning on my stream. If you've got epilepsy, please don't watch. Yeah. Other than Florida, I refuse to believe Florida is part of the U.S. anyway, so that works out. It's like a Canada South, but like a bad version, you know. So this is where it failed last time. It wouldn't actually load up GT2. Almost there. Getting excited. Oh my god. It passed. It's gonna be 9K. Probably a crap score. Yeah, it's not scoring better. Okay, let's just double check all of our settings. Looks all right. Now let's loop a few CPU tests. Oh, I'm only at 4G. I forgot about, or 4G. I forgot about that. Wait for it to apply. 4.2. No, I don't. I want manual. Manual, please. This Turbo V is a bit buggy, as you can see. Let's do 4.6. Well, I refuse to go above 4.2. Okay, 1.4 then. Okay. One 1.4 at 4.6. It's nice. It rebooted. What the hell? It's weird. Let's make sure all the current limiting and LLC and everything is set to something halfway reasonable. So on level 2, let's do level 6 at least. And 240 current. That should be enough, surely. A good chip will, especially with hyperthreading off, surely a good chip would do like 5G through time spy CPU tests. One 1.3546 on core, still on auto. So the only problem with 3D is when you get that one good run early on, like I got that 8.6k, you always wonder, you know, what happened to make that happen, and how can I make it happen again? And you can put half an hour into it, an hour, 4 hours, sometimes a day or a week, and you just don't get it back sometimes. Hey little dude, how are you doing? Okay. Jury's still out if that's a bot or an honest mistake. Hopefully that's not your password. Please change your password if that's your password. Okay, it's running. I'm excited. Are you excited? So 12.8k. It's not great or anything, but just looking for passes. It's an 18 core. Okay, 4.8. Come on, system info. $12.9. Alright, didn't want to apply 5. Let's maybe boot 4.8 at 1.4 and then try and go from 4.8 to 5. You know you're doing things right when the numbers start turning purple or red. I won't go above 1.4 today. I think it's kind of pointless. But at 18 thread it should be alright. It shouldn't be thermal throttling or anything. So this guy somehow got 15.6k on a 10 core. Good RAM though. If it's still running, you're good to go. Oh, won't boot. Uh, 1.45. Maybe I should have attached my ROG OC panel to see the temps during boot, but it shouldn't be a problem with, especially with HT off. Let's boot like, I don't know, 4.6. Or actually, it's okay. I just said I wouldn't go above 1.4, but I'm going to go 1.45 and see if it has the same issues booting. Still purple, still good. You can do it. I'm seeing the spinning balls. I'm getting excited. Okay, that worked, I think. So that's 4.8. Okay, let's chicken clock it. Okay, that didn't want to apply. Let's try again. Okay, let's try a different multiplier. That's always fun. Let's do it from BIOS then. At least we haven't had a drop RAM channel today. It's got to be chalked down as a win. Watched Mud last night, 2012 movie with Matthew McConaughey. Ah, for God's sake, throwing 0-0 for me. Okay, let's maybe settle for 4-9. I think 5 is going to be tough today. Instantly just throw 0-0. Okay, let's just clock our RAM and Encore, and then maybe that's it. So 4.8 at 1.45 was happy to even boot into Windows, and 4.9 and 5 don't even seem to be posting. It's got like X though, so shouldn't be too surprised. So 4.8, 32, 32. Cache at, let's start at 1.35. Oh, not offset, manual. Let's see if that'll post. 0-0 again. Let's try 3G. $4200C15 is quite nice on this platform. This person did a good job. Yeah, I'll be doing a 12-hour live stream for Livestream 100, and then I have some other ideas, but nothing set in stone yet. Zero zero again. Multi CPU. Still have a dual 771 system downstairs. That's that was from Country Cup 2018, I think. So slow to get into BIOS as well. Keeps just throwing 0, 0 on that profile. It's weird. $22, $62, $79, D5, $62, and now $64, A2, and then A9, and it should be in bias. I mean, I'm really not doing anything special here. Yeah, it just keeps 0, 0ing. I have to find another version of Turbo V. Maybe the Maximus 10 version is the way to go. Just digging that one out. Yeah, that one's slightly newer. I think that might be the way to go. Version 1.02 instead of 1.01. All right, I'm building a new Vice profile. The old X470 Mobos. What do you mean old? That's the second latest generation. Old for me, something like Socket A or 370. That's considered proper old. That's ancient. That category is ancient for me. Disable multi-core enhancement. No AVX offsets. Sync all cores, 45. Level 6 LLC, 240 current capability. Manual 1.4. 1.65 on these. Disable all the weird devices. Turn off CPU fan speed monitoring. Oh, need to turn off hyperthreading as well. My first PC was a 386. Before that I had some sort of Amiga or something, a non-PC. LimeWire. That was pretty recent. I'm old enough to remember no internet. That's how old I am. Hyperthreading off, and the power management disable. No, 2006. Well, that would be considered child abuse today, I think. It's posting. Well, I got internet in 1997. Oregon Trail. All right. Let's get rid of this crappy Turbo V. Pinball. Oh yes, this is looking sort of promising. It applied. Magic. 49 applied. Dare we say 50? Will 50 apply? Okay, that's an actual. It applied. It just hung. So let's do 49. Then see what we can get out of the Encore in OS, and then do a full run on the card with the card clocked. Got to be up in 1 hour. Just power through. No point going to sleep now. It's a waste of time. Right. Okay. Okay, we can give it 1.45 and do 49. No, I don't want automatic recovery crap. I just want to boot into Windows. All right, there's 4.8. There's 4.9. Okay, I'm going to be greedy and attempt 5 again. Okay, no, 4.9 is going to be the end. And maybe not even sure if we can pass CPU test at that, but we'll try. Should have checked under the lid. There's a liquid metal job there that maybe can be improved. Temps are looking good though. I've already passed 4.8. All right, 4.9 at 1.45. See if that passes, then see. Ugh. All right, 4.8 it is then. 4.8 at 1.4. And then this might not be the best bias either, though. I'll have to. I think I'm going to keep this board on the test bench for a while and run a few GPUs through it and see if I can get a better bias as well, because this is quite old. It's weird how it works because older biases have no microcode, so they don't have the what was it called? What was that big security patch called again? That performance mitigating patch, basically. They don't have that, so you can't go too new with the bias because you lose performance. But also some of the Ebola yes, that's the one. So some of the older biases have worse RAM clocking and stuff, so it's a bit of a balancing act. And some of the biases, curiously, for the current limit setting only go to 140%, whereas this one goes to 240. Now I haven't tested whether that's what's actually enforced, but 140% wouldn't be enough even for chiller clocking, I think. Spectrum meltdown, yeah. Just swap the microcode. Yeah, sure. I'm not busy at all, you know. I have all of this stuff that I can just do because I'm bored all the time, including bias modding, which I have no clue about. So 4.8 and let's do 2.8 encore. 4.8 2.8, that has a good ring to it. I'm not liking these random reboots. Okay, let's do 4.8 at 1.45. It doesn't take 30 seconds because I'm not familiar with BIOS modding. I would literally have to Google, okay, so how can I read a BIOS file and how can I replace sections in it, then do the actual replacement. Then I don't know, this board has dual BIOS, but I mean, then maybe the who knows if the flashback function will accept the BIOS, all that kind of stuff. So it's more like, in the absolute best case scenario, 30 minutes. That's the absolute best case scenario. More like 30 hours, considering how dumb I am. Yeah, but I don't really anticipate myself like having to do that again. So the well, you learn it for the next time argument doesn't really hold as much water. Okay, here we go. 4.8 at 1.45 and 28 encore. Let's just leave the encore where it is then. This is getting a bit tiresome. I forgot how little I liked Scalig X. It's a necessary evil though. This is the last high core count board that will do 4-way. Even with 8x on each slot. I don't know, modern platforms, bias modding isn't as relevant though. On the GPU side, I understand it more because there's some BIOSes that literally have a hard limit for clocks and stuff. But there's also better like tooling support on the GPU side. Launch 3D Mac first, maybe. No, I should do 4.8 at 1.4 V core. Let's try that. Ooh, 72 degrees on core 4. Maybe I have a bad mount. I mean, as long as it's just in small bursts like that, maybe not even an issue. Okay, definitely not going over 1.4 then with the current mount. $102 degrees. Okay, I see our problem here. Let's just do a full run then. Feeling a bit deflated, but okay. That's what happens in overclocking. I even used Jelly today, which I usually only reserve for LN2 runs, but yeah, it wasn't WinRAR 8 sort of the first place that came up with the KB, what was it called, the coffee mod. Coffee Lake chips on KB boards. Okay, hoping for over 9k total at least. Another seizure warning to end the stream. All right, that's gonna do it, unfortunately. I think just about run out of patience with this thing for today. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll be putting out notifications for Livestream 100 a little bit early, probably a day before or something. Yeah, but worst case scenario, you'll find out once it's live. Yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time.